what is going on? We have on the one hand these
here.
swans. Yeah, we've got these swans, which could be regarded as being the US markets, and then we've got the ugly ducklings, which are certainly emerging markets. We can't put it all down to trade rhetoric, trade fears, and ultimately also the strength of the dollar, or can we?
No, you know, I think you had it right. There's a number of things going on right now. The focus is on desynchronized growth. The U.S. is moving ahead. Other economies are falling behind. You've got the Fed tightening. You've got U.S. rates going up, a strong dollar, higher oil prices, and trade tensions. It's all hitting emerging markets. That's the story today, but I think the story 6 months from now is going to be a rapidly slowing U.S. economy. U.S. economy is growing, but right now it's a sugar high, all driven by a big fiscal stimulus.
Okay, well, with that in mind, the thing is, how much of that could actually be also if we get a trade war? You know, July 6th, as Jingle Rich was saying, represents D-Day. If we get a war, is it also, as the Ministry of Commerce there in Beijing says, America shooting itself in the foot and then it could backfire on them?
Well, it's absolutely shooting itself in the foot. It's very hard to target trade measures these days, given global supply chains. A lot of the companies that are going to be hit in China are American companies, and a lot of them import components from America. The only thing you know, I take issue with is I think we're in a trade war right now. Even if the U.S. were to come out tomorrow and say, never mind, just kidding, the fact is that China and a lot of other countries around the world are now questioning the reliability of the U.S. as a market, as a supplier, and as a banker.
Yep, you know, that's it. But it's fear breeds fear, and that's the problem.
You know, you're absolutely right. What we're seeing now in markets is increased uncertainty. You know, I think if you're a business and you're thinking about making a big investment, maybe you'll hold off because you don't know how your components are going to be taxed, and you don't know how your exported final product is going to be taxed.
Yeah, let's just go to what's going on with the Chinese economy right now. We see the yuan continuing to depreciate. You can, of course, lay that at the strength of the dollar. But there's a lot of other moving parts there. Credit growth, or lack of it. In fact, credit contraction, you could argue, and equity contraction, too. Why has sentiment changed so radically?
Well, you're seeing a lot of headwinds, as you mentioned. You've got enhanced environmental protection. You've got kind of reducing excess capacity. You've got deleveraging. And now you've got trade tensions. Those are all coming together at the same time. I think the Chinese government has made it pretty clear that they're going to put a floor on growth. I don't think there's any appetite for growth below 6%. But I think the trade tensions with the U.S. are also a wake-up call to China. I think ZTE was a big shock, and I think it is actually going to force them to move more quickly to address some of the vulnerabilities in the Chinese economy, particularly overly leveraged corporates.